Hello, one and all, and welcome to whatever the heck this thing is. I am the Max Few Trades, and we are celebrating two separate milestones. A little while ago, I managed to get 10,000 subscribers on this here YouTube channel, which is still really freaky and weird and confusing to me, but it managed to happen, and it's pretty great, and I'm happy about that. And another thing that's happening is that today is, in fact, the channel's 9-year anniversary. I have been doing this for 9 years. I figured, maybe now is probably the best time to finally get around to this whole, answering questions thing that I said I was going to do when I hit 10K. We hit 10K, I want to say maybe in December. And I kind of been dragging my feet on that, but then eventually it got to the point where I was like, well, I should probably just wait until it's February 7th, because then it's the anniversary, and then it's like a double whammy of awesome. It just seemed like a good idea. So you guys asked me a large amount of questions, and I'm going to try and answer as many of them as I possibly can in ways that actually make sense. There are so many. Let's go. Are you gonna do some more best of videos? It's not up to me. I've never made any of the best of videos. Those were made by fans and sent to me, so you're gonna have to ask somebody else to compile them, honestly. If they ever do, I'll gladly put them up, but I don't have any plans on making any of them, at the very least. How do I feel about shrimp, both as creatures and as food? Decently, I suppose. Shrimps are kind of silly-looking creatures, water bugs. Pepe, the king prawn of the Muppets, is pretty fantastic, so they've got that going for them. Is a prawn a shrimp? A prawn's a type of shrimp, but I don't know if I think it's one of those all prawns are shrimp, but not all shrimps are prawns type thing. That's my best guess. What would you say is the most difficult LP you ever had to record, either game difficulty-wise or emotional-wise? Dunganronpa sure does mess me up something fierce. Of that, I can definitely assure you. As far as actual game difficulty, usually the more classic games that I play, because I remember Castlevania being really difficult. Ultimately, after time goes by, you kind of... The amount of difficulty you had playing a game kind of fades away, and you just remember playing the game. So I can't really say. I'll go with Castlevania, but I'm pretty sure there's probably something that was more difficult, and I'm just not remembering it right now. Who could I stand the least between Byakuya and Nagato? Nagato, not even a question. I hate both of those two very much, but one of those is definitely much, much worse than the other. There's no debate there. Did you have anything specific you wanted this channel to be when you first started? I wanted it to be a Let's Play channel, and by Jove, I somehow made it work. I also kind of wanted it to also be a place where I would post, like, reviews and drawing stuff, and occasionally I do, in fact, do those things. Oh, I mean, I haven't done a review in, like, forever, but, theoretically, there's nothing stopping me from making it to that place. I just need to get over all of my personal anxieties, which has proven to be difficult, but as far as my my ideal vision of the channel, it's pretty much gone the way I could have hoped. I mean, I wish there were more people watching, but I'm not gonna scoff at what I do have, because what I have is amazing. What was it like to be a member of the Death Battle research team? It was fun while it lasted. Not really sure what else I can add to that, really. I had fun, and I miss it. That's all there is to it. Will I ever play Dunganronpa, another episode, Ultra Despair Girls, down in the future, along with Dunganronpa V3? I mean, I want to say no, but at the same time, like, obviously, I'm probably going to play them at some point. Don't hold your breath. It's not going to be soon. I would like to take a long break from games that emotionally devastate me, if it's all the same with you guys. I kind of need a break. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been playing a lot of emotionally devastating games in a row lately. I kind of need to take a few, bare minimum, a few months before I dive into anything that's going to try and make me feel things again, but I'll probably play those again. What's your favorite Phoenix Wright turnabout? I don't remember the names of all of them. I don't know if I have an outstanding favorite. I feel like the last trial of Justice for All, the one that involved Matt Ungard and stuff, I feel like that might be my favorite, just because of how tense everything got towards the end there, and you had to defend a guilty client, and whoo, it was something else. I'd have to think about it even harder, but if I had to guess, I mean, that's the first one that came to mind as far as ones that were, like, really, really, really good. I don't dislike any of them, though, so there you go. How many Let's Plays as of now have you completed and not gotten uploaded? Currently, 1. You'll see that after Persona 3 finally ends. My favorite flavor of medicine? I don't really have one. All medicine tastes bad. It's not really something you're supposed to enjoy taking. So, bit of a strange question, that one. My opinion on grass, I think it's too green. I think it should be orange. If I had an evil doppelganger, what accent would they have? Probably Scottish. That sounds about right. How many hours of sleep would you say you get a day? I'm gonna say maybe about 5, 4.5, maybe. It's not great. If someone made a movie based on your life, what genre would it be? Boring. So I guess, I don't know, whatever genre you find the most boring, that's what it would probably be. I'm not interesting. How's my day been? I've had worse, I've had better. No real complaints. Out of both Danganronpa 1 and 2, who would you say is your favorite overall character? Well, did that answer any of your questions? I think I might. How's my ruby shelf going? All right, well, first of all, I'm somewhat offended. It is not a ruby shelf. It is a Weiss shelf. And it is also not a shelf, it is a shrine. It is a creepy, creepy shrine to this character. Thank you very much. And for the record, it's doing okay. It's currently had to kind of share occupancy with you can sort of see it in the corner there. It's sort of sharing occupancy with a couple of other things, but I've got some stuff coming pretty soon to add to it that should make the whole thing look a little bit better. But thank you for asking, actually. I'm surprised anybody even remembers that I have it. What is my favorite playthrough out of all of the ones I have done? I think I'd actually go with Persona 4. I think that was probably one of my better ones, if I'm being honest. I think I hit all the right notes on that one. I don't have a super high opinion of anything I make, but I think that one was good. What do I think about Shantae and the 7 Sirens? I thought it was really good. It's a Shantae game. They're always good. Not really much else to say. I suppose I'll talk about it more when I end up Let's Playing it, but I've got... Yeah, I got another game. I was trying to see how many I was trying to remember how many I've played on the channel up to this point, but you'll see my thoughts on it when I get there. Don't worry. Am I willing to do another 10 death battles I want to see? Perhaps. At some point. Maybe. Who knows? My favorite RPG, that is a loaded question. I like a lot of RPGs, but I suppose... The never-ending war between Persona 4 and Legend of Dragoon going on in my psyche, I'd say. Probably one of those two. What do I like more between Persona 4 and 5? I like 4 better. 5 is still really, really good, but 4 is pretty clearly ahead for me. How am I doing mentally? I've been better, if I'm being honest. I've been having a rough couple of years. Not gonna go into details. It's not really important to any of you guys. I'm gonna be fine. I'm doing fine. I'll be fine. But it has been rough. It has been tough, but I'm doing my best. Thank you for asking. You gonna play the next Danganronpa or Phoenix Wright? Yes, eventually. I will. Don't worry about it. Is there a series you personally think is a bit overhated? I would need to know about the public receptions of most series. I don't have it in my brain exactly, just what is hated and what is beloved, so I wouldn't know. I'm sure there's a lot, though. Would I ever return to the FTWF? I would certainly like to bring that series back. It's a bit of a time commitment. That's really kind of the only real problem, but I really would like to bring it back at some point. It's in the cards, we'll say that much. Are there any game series you really want to keep playing or finish? Pretty much any series that I've started on the channel, I want to keep playing. And, you know, that goes with just about almost any series that I've really started, even the ones I haven't played on the channel. I generally don't end up playing games that I don't like. It's very rare. What's your opinion on One Piece? Do you like the series? If so, who's your favorite character? I don't know. Talk about this giant wall of wanted posters of most of the characters I got on my wall here. I don't know. Maybe I do like that series a little bit. And also, I really like Zoro. Thanks for asking. Some of these questions are weird. My thoughts on vegan meat? I've literally never had it, and I probably never will. I don't know. Would I rather have Sun Wukong's staff or Sly Cooper's cane? Sly Cooper's cane, easily. I got no attachment to Wukong. Get out of here with that. Am I ever going to let people do more voting for the next LP once I'm done with Persona 3? Yes, at some point. I like to put stuff to polls all the time. This wasn't the first time I had done it. I don't remember when? I want to say I ended up playing Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga because of a poll that I made a long time ago. So I'm totally down for doing more of it. It's fun. Would I ever play an RPG Maker or Flash game? Technically, I've already played a couple Flash games on the channel, the Adventure Pony games. So and those are about as low tech as you could ever get. So it's totally possible. Just depends on whether or not I have them and people want to see them, I suppose. What death battles, if any, would you disagree with? Who won? A decent amount, honestly. Mostly from the first season, because that was the season with the most shaky researches. I would say primarily the two that come to mind off the top of my head are Bomberman versus Dig Dug and Pikachu versus Blanca. those outcomes are just factually incorrect. They, yeah, they overlooked a lot of stuff back in the day, and yeah, those should have gone the other way, easily. Have I ever watched Yu Yu Hakusho? I have. It's a very good show. I enjoyed it greatly. I actually want to kind of rewatch it, actually. Yeah, I should do that. Thanks for reminding me. Will I ever play another Mega Man or Metroid game in the future? Yes! And fun fact, the never-ending list of games that I've been asked to play on Patreon are that I'm slowly whittling away at. Yeah, Metroid is on that thing, Metroid Prime, so we'll be getting that sooner or later. Mega Man, yes. I long since lost the ability to do one a year like I always wanted, but we'll get back to it eventually. Is it okay if I ask you a question? You literally just did. Also, you posted this on a video where I asked people to ask me questions. Kind of goes without saying. Why do I play the games entirely before releasing the upload of the LP? What... Oh, okay. So basically, it was multiple questions, but it was written like it was one big one. Why do I record the whole thing before I upload it? Just in case something goes horribly wrong. I don't like to have large delays in the middle of series, and I'm very well known for having a lot of tech issues and, I don't know, depressive problems that can sometimes make it difficult to record on certain days. It's just for the sake of consistency more than anything else. Will you ever play Destiny? I can't really say that I can't, like, openly say I will never play this game, but I'm gonna say the odds are extraordinarily low. It doesn't really seem like something I'm all that interested in. I feel like if I was ever gonna be interested in it, I already would have done so probably not, but, you know, never say never. The curiosity, what are the games to date that have made you cry? Ah, yes, pointing that out. Thank you for that. I can't really remember them all off the very top of my head, but I know I cried in Persona 4, Yakuza 0, Spider-Man, both Danganronpas. There's a couple times where there were some near misses, some welling up, but not like full-on cries. But it happens more often than I'm actually okay with. I don't much like having that kind of, have the internet opinion of me. I was like, oh, that's the wuss. That's the guy who cries in video games. Well, that's just who I am. Why is it I am such an amazing entertainer? Well, that's entirely subjective and up to the people who watch me. I personally don't actually think I'm all that good at anything I do, but a lot of people are like, hey, you're actually pretty good at this. So you'd have to ask other people how exactly or why I am what I am, because I sure as all hell don't have an answer for you on that one. Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, or Ratchet and Clank, which one do I like the most out of the three? That is an incredibly rude thing to ask, but because I love all three of those very, very much, but I guess Ratchet and Clank, I'd say I have the strongest connection with them because they're the ones I played with their series first, so that would probably be why. And out of Slayer, Jack, which one I would like to see continued? I'd like to see both continued, but I'd say Sly Cooper is the only one of the two that actually has a chance at ever coming back. Naughty Dog seems pretty content to just leave Jack and Daxter in the vault and pretend they never existed. Whereas Sly Cooper at least was able to get another game that, you know, because Sucker Punch, you know, the company that makes them, was at least willing to let another company do it. So it's not impossible. It seems unlikely at this point, but that seems to be the facts. My favorite Dragon Ball girl, that's Videl, y'all. That's not even a debate. What? Videl. Do I intend on playing the other Kingdom Hearts games? Man, there's like 50,000 of those damn things. Probably, eventually. I don't see why not. How did I come up with the channel name? Well, my name and the channel's name are one and the same. And it's pretty clear cut, I always thought. But basically, I'm sure you've heard of the term of a jack of all trades, somebody who's not great at any specific thing, but is at least, you know, goodish at everything. So, I just changed the Jack into my name, Max, and I'm not of all trades because I'm not somewhat decent at everything. I'm only decent at a couple things, so Max of few trades. It seemed clever. Super Saiyan 4 or Super Saiyan Blue? I like Super Saiyan 4 better than I like Blue, which is impressive because Blue is a much better color than red, and Super Saiyan 4 is nothing but red. But I like the symbolism and the idea behind 4 more than I care for Blue. Blue's good, though. I still like it, but yeah. Dragon Ball Super, Broly, yay or nay? Yay. They managed to take a very terrible character and make him absolutely amazing. Nothing but kudos for that. What is your favorite genre of music? That is so difficult for me to say because I don't really have one. I just like good music, and whatever good is can just be whatever I like. Because, I mean, like, my favorite musician is Weird Al Yankovic, and that dude does everything. So I can like just about any type of music as long as it's what my brain considers to be good. How do I plan my Let's Plays? I don't, actually. With the exception, the very few exceptions of the fact that I sometimes ask, viewers what they want to see. Generally, most of the time, whenever I Let's Play a game, it was decided almost completely by random. I just pick a game, start playing it, and if I feel like it's clicked, then I keep playing it, and then eventually it goes on the channel. Simple as that. What made or influenced your decision on you becoming vegan? All right, well, first and foremost, I'm not a vegan. Vegans don't eat anything that's made by animals or things that can be made from animal products. So a vegan wouldn't eat things like milk or cheese or butter, and I most assuredly do. Also, the exact term you're looking for is a vegetarian, and nothing influenced or made me decide to become a vegetarian. I was just born in a vegetarian household, and it just stuck. And I really like animals and just don't want to eat them. But at the same time, if you do, you're more than welcome to do so. I don't really care how you choose to live your life. So go for it. I merely ask that I'm not mocked for it, and I'm totally fine with whatever you choose to do. What is the average airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Haha, I bet you think you're clever with that, but the answer is 24 miles per hour, roughly, give or take. Where's Perry? Right here! How many woodchuck could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? About 47 bushels by my count. But peer review is needed on the hypothesis. What character would I like to cosplay as? Have you seen me? The hell could I ever... I don't look like nobody. I don't know, maybe if I shaved what proper and got the outfit, I might be able to pull off a decent Guybrush Threepwood. But even that's a bit of a stretch. Do I have any LPs that surprised me with how well or how poorly they did? If so, which ones? I can't really say specifically, but if there's anything I've learned over the course of all of the many Let's Plays that I've done at this point, I have absolutely no idea what's going to end up becoming popular and what's going to be completely ignored. Like some games, I'll just somehow get like thousands, well, at least about 1,000 views per video. Like, I never expected Parappa the Rapper to get so big. I mean, big comparatively. It didn't get, like, blow up or anything, but compared to other things I did, it's easily one of the more popular ones that I did. But, when I did Phoenix Wright for a lark, or even Dunganronpa, I did that just because, all right, sure, this is a game. And it just went whoosh, and it just went all over the dang place. Same goes for games that I thought maybe would do a little bit better, but didn't. Specific names aren't important. Just watch all of them. Watch all of my series. Do it. Do it now. Which Darkstalker do you want to see in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as a DLC fighter? Well, ideally, I would like Felicia, but she sure as all hell ain't getting in. Obvious reasons, really. My favorite and least favorite death battles? Oh, boy. Well, Ratchet and Clank versus Jack and Daxter is always going to probably be at the top of my list, personally, because I had so much involvement in that, and it's between characters I really like, and it's awesome, and super great, and all that good stuff. But, least favorites? Generally, any of the ones where characters I like have lost. Because I'm petty that way, really. I mean, as far as just, I'm very displeased with this episode's existence because a character I like lost would be Weiss versus Mitsuru. It's still the only episode I've never actually watched because, well, I already knew how it was going to end, and I didn't want to see it, so I didn't. As far as maybe an episode that's just of bizarrely low quality, it's kind of a shame to say it, but it's the most recent one I can think of. Batgirl versus Spider Gwen was just but honestly, I'd say at worst, death battles are meh. I wouldn't call any of them really bad. There have been some extraordinarily sour notes in particular episodes, but I wouldn't call any of them outright bad. If I could give a Smash roster slot to any character, who would it be? Ooh, that's a difficult one. I've put a lot of thought into it before. Really, the two characters that are left that I would be, like, super crazy over the moon for would be either Shantae or Phoenix Wright. And, I mean, it's pretty simple because you're also asking about what stage they would have or their songs they'd bring along. I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand, really. I mean, obviously, I feel like Shantae would probably have Scuttletown, and Phoenix Wright would have the courtroom. And I think the courtroom would be really cool, because you could have, like, you know, other characters in the back, like, having a trial while all the fighters in the foreground or something. I think that'd be really neat. So, I don't know if either of them have any chance whatsoever, but if either ever do, then that'd be pretty great. Have there ever been any games that you've LP'd that you were surprised you enjoyed? I keep telling people this, and it's still funny to me. I was amazed by Persona 4 because I did not know it was an RPG. Literally nothing I ever saw about the game told me that it was an RPG. I'd only ever seen stills or, you know, of like the, you know, out of combat stuff. The way that people talk about the game and the way they showed pictures and the memes and whatever, it was always gave me the impression that it was basically just a virtual novel. And then you could even see me go a little bit nuts in that playthrough when the fight starts, and I'm like, this is an RPG? So that was a very pleasant surprise, to say the least. Which LP of yours has been the most enjoyable to record? I generally enjoy recording pretty much everything. There's only been a few games where I would say I didn't really enjoy. But even then, you know, I don't really ever have much problems, really. Usually the only thing that really sours me on stuff is when I have an absurd amount of tech issues, generally. But, I'd say pretty much all of them, to an extent, at least. My current favorite series, be it an anime series or video game series? Okay, you're gonna have to be a lot more specific and narrow those fields down, because that's asking a lot. My favorite series? I don't know. I like too many things to really... I'd have to, like, really sit down and think about it for a good long time before I could actually give you an answer on that. I just like a lot of things. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Last I checked, she was hanging around Peru. So, maybe try checking there. If you could get your Electric Tranquility characters into Death Battle, who would your ideal opponents for them be? I'd rather not be in Death Battle, if I'm being honest. I would appreciate the notion that a series I created would get famous enough to actually warrant it as a possibility, but I'd rather not put them up against characters because there's a chance they could lose, and I don't think I have the heart for that. Could I ever play the Rhythm Heaven series? I've heard of it, and I think it's made by the same either team or head creator of WarioWare, so I've always really wanted to. I've just never gotten around to it, but it looks fun from what I've seen. Will I ever play Shimagami Tensei Devil Survivor? Yeah, apparently Persona is a spin-off of this Shimagami Tensei thing I've been hearing about, but... And there's like a war of fandoms between the two of them as to which one's good and which one's terrible, and I don't know. It's the same answer I generally have for anything when anybody ever asks me, will I ever play something? The answer is maybe, if I get to it. I got a lot of games I want to play, and there's a lot of games that are going to come out that I want to play. I'll either get to it or I won't. It's hard to say. Did you ever have to do math or calculations when you worked for Death Battle? I attempted. I'm terrible at it, and hey, that might have played a factor as to why I'm not anymore. When do you plan on doing more God of War? At some point. I honestly am slightly there with you. I kind of figured I would have played another one by now, but it's been a while, hasn't it? I can't say I know when. Eventually. Best I can give you. Do you think you'll ever do a Minecraft Let's Play? I don't know why I would, if I'm being honest. Minecraft is one of those games that's really only fun if you have people with you, and I don't have people with me. And also, it doesn't really have an end goal. You just kind of derp about and make stuff. And I'm terrible at making stuff. Like, whenever I play any games that feature a wide scope of creativity and, like, build your own thing, my stuff always looks terrible, and it would just be really discouraging. I don't know. I'm gonna say probably more than most likely no, but maybe. What even is a pimento? A pimento is a cherry pepper. It's spicier than a red bell pepper. That's about it. Maybe next time use Google. What's my favorite game environment? I like snow levels, if I'm being honest. I know that those usually invite ice physics, and people don't like ice physics, but I don't know. I like the chilly atmosphere. I like blues and whites and those colors. So it's always pleasant to look at, and that's an unpopular opinion to be certain, but I'd say that would pretty much be it. Will I ever make another Most Wanted Death Battles or Top 10 list in general? I would like to. if I have a good enough idea and I can get around to actually making a script, and if I can get around to recording it and editing it, you'll definitely all see it. Of that I assure you. Would I ever do some drawings of Kate and Ryan, my OC characters, if you don't know, in small comics? I would really like to. I'd also like to do animations with them. It's time-consuming and difficult, and I'm not very good at it, but these are things I would like to do. And in relation to that question, basically, would I ever have, like, voice actors read out said comics? That's actually a pretty decent idea. If I do make comics, there's nothing stopping me from just getting... I have voice actors planned out for them already, so I could, in theory, be able to do that if I had the funds in order to make that work. That's not a bad idea. It would be a nice sort of halfway between being able to actually make full animations. Not a bad idea. Thank you. Is there a series you've planned for a long time, but that's consistently remained on the back burner? I have a couple of things that I've always really wanted to do on my channel that, or even just strictly speaking through Let's Plays, that I've wanted to do, but for one reason or another, it's had to wait, or it wasn't the right time, or I had something else come up, something to that general figure. But I still want to do those things, so I'm not going to tell you what they are, so that you can still be surprised by them when I eventually do them. So, yee. If Parappa 3 was ever made, would you play it on the channel? Absolutely, of course I would, but unfortunately, it's looking like that's impossible. And last I checked, the creator of the Parappa series tried to make a spiritual successor off of Kickstarter or Indiegogo or one of those things, and it didn't make anywhere close to its goal, so it didn't get made. So, it's looking like not only is Parappa never coming back, it's probably likely we're never going to get another game like it, ever. So, that's unfortunate. When do I plan to do the third game in the Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, and Jack and Daxter series? Eventually. I want to play them. They're all very fun. I'll get to them when I get to them, people. Also, why did it take so long to do Sly 2 after Sly 1? I don't know, man. It's just the way that the pieces on the board fell. I don't know what to tell you. Sheesh. When do I plan to do the next Mario or Zelda games on my channel? At some point. I got a lot of games that I gotta get through, and when I eventually feel the inkling to do so, then I will. I'm sounding more frustrated by these questions than I think I'm not actually upset by these questions. I'm kind of playing them up for comedic effect, but I can't give you a strict answer on when I'm gonna play something. Favorite game of all time? I'm still gonna go with Legend of Dragoon. It's a game that has a lot of emotional and, attachments for me, because it was the first game I played that introduced me to a lot of things, so I'm probably always going to say that's probably my favorite game ever. But Persona 4 definitely did a really good job of trying to dethrone it, I can tell you that much. I would say Persona 4 is objectively the better game, but if you're asking my favorite game, then it would still probably be Legend of Dragoon. How old am I? I'm currently 27 years old, and in 2 days, February 9th, I will be 28. Oh dear. Will I ever Let's Play The World Ends With You? I don't know. Maybe. Would I ever play Dust and Elysian Tale? I don't know. Maybe. More Parappa and Jammer Lammy win? When there's more to play, which, as I said earlier, appears to be never. Why don't more people watch me? Because the way that YouTube works, the smaller of a channel you are, the less likely it is for people to be able to discover you. That's just kind of how it's been. The only reason I have any viewers at all is because I was at the right tail end of when YouTube really started changing things to be really bad. So unless something I do or did at some point ends up going like super mega crazy viral on like either Twitter or Reddit or something, the odds of me ever really being a super big name are pretty much almost 0%. Which is a bit of a shame. I would like to have a lot more viewers because I like entertaining the more people the better. But yeah, it is what it is. I got no real complaints. Are there any games that I've wanted to play but can't because it wouldn't make a good Let's Play? That has happened on occasion, but it was also when I was first starting out. I feel like I can make almost anything work at this point as long as I have the right spin for it. So it's possible, but I also don't want to give names because it's very possible I'll still do those at some point. So, to answer your question, yes, but at the same time, I'm not gonna let it beat me. Finally, what will you never share with your fans? A lot of things. You don't gotta know everything about me. What was the hardest episode for Death Battle that I researched? Man, figuring out everything about Thanos was a pain. I can tell you that much. I was a lead researcher on him. Dude's been in a lot of stuff and done a lot of crazy things. Luckily, Darkseid was so absurdly even more insane that it was pretty obvious who was gonna win, but just getting all that stuff compiled was a big ordeal. Am I planning on playing the rest of the Yakuza games? Yes, eventually. Which of my figurines and or plushes are my favorite? Ah, interesting question. I'll go get it. It's really hard to say that anything other than this is probably gonna be my favorite. Look at this thing. Isn't it fantastic? All this detail and stuff, and this cool little stand and everything. It's freaking awesome. What is my favorite color? It is blue. What was your first video game? It's kind of hard to straight up recall what my first video game ever was, but if I had to guess, I feel like my earliest memory of playing a video game was Super Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo. Specifically, I want to say Mario Brothers 3. That's what I feel like was probably my first game. Am I proud of my beard? If not, you can. I'm not really proud of it, per se. It's just kind of a thing that's on my head. People always ask me how long it takes me to grow it, or how I grew it, and the answer is always the same. I did nothing. It simply showed up, and it won't go away. That's just kind of what it is. Have I ever played a Dark Souls game? No, I have not. I'm not sure if I ever will, but again, as I always keep saying, never say never. Would I ever do a Fire Emblem Let's Play? I would love to do a Fire Emblem Let's Play. Problem is, the ones that I would really want to play are on the DS, 3DS. I would really like to play Fire Emblem Awakening for the channel, but that's almost impossible to record. But if I ever find a way to make it work, then excuse me, I will. Have I ever heard of Bravely Default and its sequel Bravely Second? I have heard of them. I also know of Murgurger. But other than those two things, the name and Murgurger, I don't know anything other than the fact that they are RPGs. So, hopefully that's a satisfactory answer. Thoughts on the Generation 8 fossil Pokemon, the poor abominations? I get what they were going for with those things, because, paleontologists were mixing up bones all the time, and they wanted to, sort of make a joke out of that. But I feel like it kind of robs the Pokemon of having actual identities, because they're just jumbled up messes and abominations. I feel like it was a really neat idea, but compared to all the other fossil Pokemon we've gotten up to this point, they're pretty mediocre. And finally, how are the animals? Well, they're all content. I can say that much. None of them are having any issues or are sick or anything, so that's good. Thanks for asking. I remember you saying you liked the Ratchet and Clank movie. If you played the 2016 game, what do I think of it? It's interesting because the game of the movie is basically technically sort of a remake of the first Ratchet and Clank game. And I know that not a lot of people really liked it because it was kind of a stripped down version, but considering the large amount of improvements over the original game, I honestly got to say it's probably still a better one. I still like the original Ratchet and Clank, but I'm totally content with just rolling with the remake. If I ever wanted to play that particular story again, I feel like it meshes better. On that subject, am I excited for Rift Apart? Hell yes! My god, am I glad that Insomniac Games never gave up on Ratchet and Clank like Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch gave up on Jak and Daxter and Sly Cooper. Never gonna get over that. What do I think of Persona 4 Golden compared to the original? I would say Persona 4 Golden is a complete and total 100% improvement over the original. There's no reason to play the original if you can play Golden, especially now that it's also on Steam. So it's the definitive version. You should definitely play that. Have I gone crazy from answering over 100 questions yet? Not yet, but I want to say I'm only about maybe almost 2/3 of the way done. We'll see. My opinion on Animal Crossing New Horizons, it's a good game, but like all Animal Crossing games, generally you can play it like fervently for about a month or two, then you'll play it on and off for a good few months after that, and then eventually you'll just kind of not really see much of a purpose in turning it back on. All Animal Crossing games are good, but they almost always end up ending up that way, where you're just kind of like, well, kind of did all I could. I'll swing by for some holidays now and then, but other than that, Where did the concept for Electric Tranquility come from? If you don't know what that is, it's the original series that I'm trying to make. The idea for it came from my brain, basically. I don't really have a direct inspiration. I can't point my finger to one specific thing, because it's like kind of just an accumulation of everything that I enjoy and stuff that I personally like seeing. So that's kind of really all there is to say. Last year, you said you were going to play the visual novel Katatawa Shoujo, which I'm definitely not saying correctly. Any rough estimate of when that might be? All right, so funny story. When I was asked to play that and I agreed to it, I did not realize the game was going to be the way that it ended up being. I didn't get anything spoiled for me, but what I do know is that the game gets dark and it also gets lewd. So, it's gonna be a little bit longer. I'm gonna have to find a very specific way to go about playing that game. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it. It's gonna require some editing, at the very least. I just kind of want to wait for a good time when I feel emotionally and mentally prepared for anything that the game can dish out. But I also don't want to just say, oh, no, I'm not gonna play that now, because I already said I would. So, and I want to stick to my word, so I'm still gonna play it. And I don't want to give a concrete estimate, but maybe this year? Am I ever going to play a 3DS game? You're asking mainly because of the Ace Attorney games. Yeah, that's kind of rough. 3DS recording is extraordinarily difficult, and failing that, really expensive. And there's basically almost nobody out there on the internet making things so that you can get recording footage for them anymore. It's really kind of a pain, but I'm going to find a way eventually. I kind of have to. There's too many 3DS games that I want to play for me to not figure it out eventually. Is P4 still your favorite Persona game, or has your opinion changed after P3 and P5R? I have not played P5R, and I also don't really feel an overwhelming desire to. I feel like the original was fine as it is, and the things that they added don't really seem like worth it. I'll probably get it and play it at some point, but I don't really know how much better it's going to be. But to answer your question, yeah, I still think Persona 4 is my favorite, and I would say it's probably still the best. All three are great games, but that's my thought on it, at least. A Dream Smash character that'll probably never see the light of day? Most likely Shantae, sadly. Why do I abstain from swearing? Is it simply something regarding upbringing, or is it some form of phobia? Well, as some people might be able to tell, I don't fully abstain from swearing. I simply save it for when I feel it's most appropriate. I'll let some more swear words slip out more easily on games that are already swearing constantly, but I don't know. It's not really a specific reason. I just kind of like the idea of being generally kid-friendly. For the most part, I know I can't really say that my channel is after a lot of the games I've played, but that's kind of just the angle that I've been going for. My favorite Ace Attorney character and why? It's probably going to be a really boring answer, but I think I'm just going to have to straight up go for Phoenix Wright. Dude's just awesome. He never give up. He believe in his peoples. He is good friend. He is good guy. He is my favorite. Where am I from? America. For better or worse. What's my favorite dessert? Unpopular opinion. I don't like sugar. So I don't really like desserts at all. I don't really have one. I can sometimes, and like, even when I do, I'm really basic. I don't like frosting or any of that stuff. Just plain vanilla, like, cupcakes. Sometimes a vanilla cake is nice, but I don't like ice cream or most things. I guess donuts would technically be a dessert, but it's also a breakfast thing too. I like cinnamon twists. Is there a Ruby character you think should get a spin-off after the main one is finished? Twice, all the time, forever. Are you a fan of any board games or tabletop RPGs? I own several, but I don't have anybody to play them with. So, kinda hard to really say. Do I still collect Amiibos? If yes, which one is your strongest? I casually pick them up here and there whenever I can, whenever they're not freakishly expensive, but most of them are at this point. And as far as who is the strongest, I don't think I've ever trained any of them. And any Amiibo that was ever trained by me would never be that good. So, yeah. When you worked for Death Battle, which characters were you upset about having to kill? Almost all of them. During my tenure working for the show, it seemed like every character I preferred would almost always lose. Too many. Too many. How long did it take to grow my beard that long? I don't know. I didn't click a stopwatch. I don't know. I just stopped shaving one day and it grew. I don't know how long it took. Whew, this is a big old list. All right, here we go. What's my full opinion on Edgeworth, Francisca, and Godot after having played the entire trilogy? Edgeworth is a good guy. He was misguided, but he's on the right path. Francisca is basically sort of the same, except significantly more adorable. Godot, whatever. He murdered people. How did my love for cats begin? I was just born in a house that had cats, and I like cats. That's just how it is. What do you prefer, American, European, or Japanese comics? I don't really like reading in general, but I'd probably say I've likely read more manga than any of the others, I would guess. What Pokemon movie is my favorite? Pokemon 2000. Not even a question. What animal, object, etc. do you want there to be a Pokemon based off of? I think it's weird we've yet to have a platypus Pokemon. What era, decade of Disney movies do you like the most? Gonna be kind of a lame answer, but I'm gonna have to go with the 90s. Ever played Disgaea? I know of Disgaea, and I want to play them. Just for what that's worth. What main entry series of Final Fantasy is my favorite? 7. I know. Basic answer, but what are you gonna do? What Dragon Quest game is your favorite? I want to say it's 8. Is that the one with Yangus and Jessica? I'm so bad with Roman numerals, but 8 and 11. I think those are the ones. Yeah. Do I like Team Fortress 2? I played it for a little while, many a year ago. Like most of the internet, I want to say I probably know it more so for all of the many memes it's made over more than a decade since it's come out. It's enjoyable. I remember playing as a scout a lot. If I could be a half animal, centaur, harpy, lamia, etc., what would you be? I mean, I don't really know if I'd want to be one, but I know that I really like harpies, so guess I wouldn't have a problem being a bird person. If I could design a video game, what would it be about? It would either be your typical standard turn-based RPG or a tactics game based off my series. That's what I would most want to see. Are there any anthropomorphic characters you find attractive? That is a weird thing to ask somebody. Also, I believe by anthropomorphic you would probably mean an animal with human-like traits. Unlike, say, specifically like a cat girl or something. Because there's two very different types of cat girl. Assuming it's what I think you're saying, I'm gonna say not really. But, I mean, if there are for you, good power to you. I ain't gonna shame nobody. Do you think a content creator's personality and work should be separate? AKA that it's okay to like a bad person's art or animation? That's a really tricky question to answer. It kind of depends on a lot of factors. But I have had to do a lot of soul searching because that very thing has happened to a series I really enjoyed. It's probably best to not get into details, but if it's I suppose it depends on the severity of the thing that the person did. If they're just kind of a jerk, then it's totally fine. If they've done some really heinous and awful things, then that could be a thing. But if they're part of, like, say, a group of people, like, say, a show was made by a team of 50 people, and the creator of it, what ended up being somebody who did a lot of bad stuff, I feel like it's okay because they're a small part of it, whereas, like, there's still like 49 other people who worked really hard to make a really good product, and they could still be really proud of it. So in that case, it should be fine. It's sort of a case-by-case basis, I feel. What's my opinion on there being a TV Tropes page for me? I consider it one of the greatest honors of my entire life. It is unspeakably wonderful, and I only wish it got updated and cleaned up and had all the little categories that, most TV Trope pages have. But that's a lot of work, and I know it was just done by some really great fans. So I'm not going to ask them to continue to do that, but that's my only wish. I wish it was updated more often, and I wish there was more dedicated, channel pages, like I'm curious to see what would be in an awesome on the awesome page, or the heartwarming, or tearjerker, or even nightmare fuel. I'm curious. I'd like to see what people would add to those. Do you think video game consoles will reach a point where they can't get better graphics, or for already reaching the peak? I think we're pretty much there at this point with the current crop of consoles. I don't really think graphics are gonna get much better. That's why you see so many people try to sort of go towards this VR thing, which I'm not a big fan of, because, you know, they kind of, you improve on that next, I suppose. I'm not really sure. I'm sure I'll be proven wrong, and there will be, I'm sure we'll get up to like the PlayStation 8 at some point, somehow, but eventually graphics can only get so good and loading times can only get so short, you know? What games do I want to Let's Play the most, but can't due to hardware or software limitations? Pretty much my entire 3DS library, I'll tell you that much. What's the best part of being a Let's Player? I just like being able to play games, and I like being able to have fun and entertain people. That's pretty much all there is to it. How much do I pay attention to analytics and or changes in the YouTube algorithm in running my channel? I don't bother at all. I don't feel comfortable, you know, chasing trends and doing all that jargon. I know that there are a lot of things you can do to make this stuff, like, get out there better, but it's just not in me. I don't like being that kind of person. I'm sure my channel would probably grow if I did, but it just doesn't feel right. How did I get into drawing? One time I picked up a pencil and I started doodling, and it was really fun, and I didn't stop. Can you count up all the Pokemons from Gen 1? I can, but that would take a while, and I'd rather have a different video to flex that kind of knowledge on you. Waffle or pancake? I like waffles more. What do I think about Among Us? It looks like it's a lot of fun, but you need, like, 11 friends to really make it fun, and I've got, like, 2. Can I solve this math equation? Gonna stop you right there, not even gonna try. After experiencing an emotional moment in a movie or a video game, what do I do to make myself feel better? I generally watch animal videos, or just really cheery things. I'll look up adorable moments in like animes and stuff and just bask in the warm glow of cute, basically. What is my favorite food? I like pizza. We all know Weiss is your favorite Ruby character, but who would you say your top 5 are? Weiss 5 times. It's not a joke. Okay, so you want an actual answer. All right, well, Weiss is definitely, like, I still refuse to not have her be on that top 5, even if it's without saying that she's never won. I like all of Team Ruby. I like Ruby. I like Yang, and I like Blake. And I like Jean. He's cool. I like all the characters to an extent that aren't the villains, because I hate the villains. But you're supposed to hate the villains, so they're doing a good job. Would I be interested in playing the rest of the Suikoden game someday? Never say never. What's your favorite starter Pokemon? It would be Snivy from Gen 5, I believe. Yes, I like Snivy. Max, what Nintendo Switch games do you have? I guess I'll go get them. I hope you appreciate this. I basically had to take them all off of my shelf in order to get them. All right, well, this is going to be a interesting segment. Let's just grab a huge chunk and take a look. Shantae, half genie hero. Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. Yoshi's Crafted World. Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore. That's a long-ass name. Pokken Tournament DX. Octopath Traveler. Dragon Quest XI. Breath of the Wild. Mario Odyssey. Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. Probably one of the coolest damn crossovers ever. Trials of Mana. Shantae and the Seven Sirens. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Splatoon 2. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. Smash Bros. Ultimate. Mario Kart 8. Doom. Super Bomberman R. Link's Awakening. Ukulele 1. My Hero 1's Justice. Mortal Kombat 11 somehow. Don't even remember buying this. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Ring Fit Adventure. Pokemon Shield. Spyro Reignited Trilogy. And the last one at the bottom was Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Those are all the games I have on physical media. I have many more that are just digital only, and I feel like I've indulged you enough as is, because I'm going to have to put those all back up on my shelf now, so let's say that that's all you're getting for now. For the record, I have not played all of those. I'm saving a good chunk of those as blind Let's Plays. Are there any next-gen games in particular I am excited about? Pretty much just Ratchet and Clank. I don't get ultra super hype for a whole lot these days, but I know that is one of them. There's more, but I can't think of them right now. Of the Persona series, who is your absolute favorite character as a fighter and confidant? Gonna have to be Naoto. Shiragane. Could I play any games in the Pikmin series? I played Pikmin 1 a really long time ago. I still need to play Pikmin's 2, 3, and Hey. I want to play that one too. Do I ever plan on taking on the King of Cards storyline for Shovel Knight? Eventually. Is there any game you'll absolutely not play or even talk about? Really, the only games that are completely and totally non-options, never ever, 0% chance, never happening, are pornographic. Like, I refuse to play or talk about those, but everything else ever made is at least somewhat possible. I'm not sure if this is rude or not, but someone's asking if I have autism. Well, I don't know if that's meant to be an insult or not, but, yeah, kinda. I'm really high functioning on the spectrum, but I am. As a former writer for Death Battle, which side would win? Every Pokemon or a million lions? Quite frankly, a single Pikachu could probably defeat a million lions in a half second. Do I have any funny shiny Pokemon stories? The funniest shiny Pokemon story that I could ever possibly have is the fact that the first Pokemon game that I ever owned was Pokemon Silver. I got it for Christmas, and I got my Pokeballs, and I went into the tall grass to get my first Pokemon that I ever caught. And the first ever Pokemon I literally ever caught was a shiny Pidgey. That's just amazing. Which Koopaling is your favorite? Mine would be Iggy. I like him. I don't know why, but he's always been my favorite. Favorite Fire Emblem character? That's tough. Gonna go with Lissa, though. What qualities do you think make a good villain? I feel like the best villains are the ones you really want to punch in the face, and a truly great series will let you see that villain eventually get punched in the face. If you could make your own video game, no questions asked, what genre would it be? RPG in general. I don't know if I would go with turn-based or tactics or something, but it would be that. Do you prefer a game that makes you laugh or one that makes you cry? All emotions are good, I feel. If a game could make you feel anything, I feel like it's done a really great job. It's easy to just say laugh, though, because I don't like being sad, but I applaud a game that can make me sad. Do fish have teeth? I want to say some do. Not sure. How do you feel when people feel the need to correct things you say in your videos? Do you appreciate it or loathe it when people answer your semi-rhetorical questions? I'm usually painfully aware of any and all errors I end up making, and I don't really care for it when people point them out, but I also know that whenever I get frustrated, it's really funny, so people do it for that purpose. So I know I can't ever stop it. So you just kind of got to learn to live with it. To be or not to be? Well, that is the question. Favorite anime? I mean, I already kind of touched on it, but, I think it might be One Piece, but I mean, Yu Yu Hakusho and My Hero Academia are up there. Is there any series you regret playing on for the channel, or one you would have preferred to play by yourself? There have been a couple, but I don't ultimately regret having done it, because it's still good that I did it, but there's still some games that, not the greatest, at least not for me. All right, we're almost at the end, but there's another giant one here. All right, let's answer as many of these as possible. They're all categorized, too. All right, here we go. Thoughts on Ace Attorney Apollo Justice for having played the game? I think it's interesting that we're not going to be playing as Phoenix in the next one. I'm not sure how much of a factor he even is in it. Hopefully he shows up in some capacity. We'll see. Am I planning on playing Apollo Justice or the Edgeworth Investigations next? I haven't decided yet. Who's the character you like the most between Wendy Oldbag, Lotta Hart, and Larry Butts? Lotta Hart. She's infinitely just a more pleasant person to be around. How would you rank the 3 games of the Phoenix Wright trilogy you've played so far? It's kind of hard to deny that they just kind of kept upping in quality in general as they went. I feel like that's almost safe to say. Oh boy, this is going to be tough. Of the 32 students you've met between both games, which 3 are your favorite and which 3 are the worst in Danganronpa? That's not easy at all. I'm just going to say Asahina, Akane, and Gundam are the best, and I'll say that the worst are Byakuya, Toko, and Nagito. That's just off the top of my head. Would I ever consider going back to doing Danganronpa 1 school mode? Because I did island mode for 2. I won't say it's not impossible. If I can get around to it, I feel like it's worth it. I'm not sure. We'll see. Is there a series you want to see in Death Battle that hasn't been represented yet? Tons, dude. I feel like the show could definitely benefit from branching out more. Is there a death battle that is overhated in your opinion? Green Lantern versus Ben 10 gets a never-ending barrage of hatred from all angles, and I don't really understand why. Like, I'm sorry that your guy lost, but DC Comics are stupid, guys. I don't know what you were expecting. Are there any YouTubers that I enjoy watching? I watch a lot of YouTubers. I want to say I've got like maybe, I don't know, 50 subscriptions or so? None that... There aren't any that I could shout out that people... They're all infinitely more successful than I am. I don't think they need my help. For your original cartoon idea featuring Kane Ryan, what time period is it set in? Vaguely, generally modern times. Generally, where we are right now. How much can Kate lift? A lot. I don't have the strict numbers on it. I remember definitely giving her one at one point, but that would just be her at where she is at the start of the series, not where she ends up. But really, really strong. Let's say that. What would I say to describe both of their personalities? Kate is bright, optimistic, eager to help, but also very unsure and insecure. Ryan is dour, kind of world-weary, despite being so young, but has a strong desire to make the world better. I feel like that's a really safe general idea. There's a ton more to both of them, but I don't want to... I could go on for hours and hours about the two of them, but that's not what this is for. Will I ever be willing to play Fire Emblem games in the future? Yes. Will I ever consider playing Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights in the future? It's not impossible. My favorite licensed video game, Shrek 2. Not for the memes. It's just a good game. Do you think video game sequels tend to be better or worse than their predecessors? It's a case-by-case basis. I've seen a lot of examples of trilogies where the second game is by far the best and the third is usually a step down. That doesn't happen too often in my opinion. I just know that that's the general consensus. Do you feel the need to complete video games, or is only finishing them enough for you most of the time? I'm pretty content to finish them. If I really love a game, I'll complete it completely. Would I ever do another analysis review videos or the like? I really want to. What constitutes a good person? A good person is somebody who, despite anything that they've potentially gone through, truly desires to just live life, be kind, and not harm people. I feel like being a good person isn't hard, which is why I find it so weird when I see people who just aren't. Like, being good is easy. People always say that being good is hard and being evil is easy, but I've never understood that, really. But that probably just says more about me than anything else. Do you have any advice for somebody trying to be more comfortable with who they are? I'd love to be able to help you out with that more, but I'm still kind of trying to figure that out for myself. I don't have a very high opinion of myself, and I never have, and I don't know if I ever will, but I'm trying to do better. And I think that really that's all that you could do too, really. Just do your best. And all right, I think I actually managed to do this. Not bad at all. If you didn't get a particular answer to a question, it's because I either already answered it. There was a lot of repeat questions on this, on all of these things, or I simply didn't have an answer for, and for a couple, I just didn't feel comfortable answering. So I apologize for that. But that appears to be everything. I sincerely hope you all enjoyed this. It has been a very strange and crazy 9 years, but I am incredibly happy to be here. I care about all of you very much. Thank you so much for watching my silly nonsense, and I hope to continue to make even more for as long as humanly possible. I guess I'll just see you all later.